Okay, so I've made all the parts of the puzzle cube, and as you can see, I've modeled them so they're all kind of together. And the next step is to make some drawings for this. And so each one of these parts I have, as I can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have one more than you necessarily need, so you need to have at least 5, but 6 is definitely acceptable as well. So I'm going to make a new drawing, and I'm going to put all of these together. ANSI is the kind of the format. It's a standards organization that comes up with standard ways of representing things, ways to measure, and we're going to use their template. We're going to find and we're going to use the A size. That's the size of a 8.5 by 11, your normal letter size paper. And we're going to use inches because all of the things we've done so far with this project have been inches, so we're going to stick with the inches as well. And from here we can see that we have a title block, we have a border, and the first thing that pops up here is actually the ability to insert a view. And I'm going to actually X out of that just to show you how to get in there. For mine, I personally prefer to have kind of an assembly view on the front page, and what's kind of nice about that is it's really only one view, it's all together, and this title block here takes up a bunch of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave this first page blank and not put any parts in. I'm going to save that for later. And instead, I'm going to insert a new sheet. And so I clicked on this icon here. Kind of looks like pieces of paper with a title block. And now I have sheet 2. I can always go back to sheet 1 if I want by double-clicking. One of those rare double clicks. And I can actually hide that for right now. So I'm looking at my paper. I've got a smaller version of my title block. I can see it's page 2 of 2. Soon there will be 6 parts plus the first page, 7 pages. And I've got a border right here. You can see it's kind of broken into quadrants, and we'll pay attention to those in just a second. So I'm going to insert a view, and then I'm going to insert here, and I'm going to find my parts. And so, you know, it's logical to start with part 1. And my front view kind of goes in this bottom left corner right here. And I can see there's kind of this L shape, but it kind of comes out in 2 different ways. And so I can see that I've got kind of the orientation here where one of them is kind of hidden. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to check, and I'm going to see, okay, what does it look like from the top instead? And should that be my front view? A front view has 4 different things going on. It should have the longest dimension. It should show the shape as well as possible. It should look grounded or in a natural position, and so this looks like it would actually fit on a table, sit on a table in the orientation that it is. And then the fewest hidden lines, and that's actually the reason that I reoriented this, because I want this to show object lines instead of kind of having those portions be hidden from me. Okay? And so this looks pretty good. I've got a pretty good view scale, but I can change that. And so if I wanted it to be a little bit bigger, I could change this to maybe be 0.9 to 1. And I like to click kind of off into space. I guess that's the other way. So 2.9 would work there, and that makes it slightly bigger, but the 1-to-1 was actually working pretty well. So in this case, I'm going to now click, and I put this in kind of in this bottom left quadrant. That's where my front view goes. And then automatically it actually switches to a projected view. So I only clicked once. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my top view here as well. So I'm going to click there. And then I'm going to put a right side view. And so what I need to do with this projected view is, since I don't have any views activated, I need to activate, move over, and then place the view. And then I'll do the same for the isometric, which is not required, but it is kind of a nice thing to have. So I click to activate, move my mouse over, and I click to place. And now I'm done with that tool, so I can get out of it by clicking up here, or I like the escape key on my keyboard as well. My isometric actually tells me a lot about whether this is a good front view or not. If your front view is pretty good and your isometric shows the shape very well, if it makes sense, chances are it's the best front view. And so in this case, we have a very good isometric. I can tell exactly what this shape is, and so I can go from there. In the next video, I'm going to talk about dimensions, and that's kind of the next important thing. We can't assume anything. We have to actually have evidence on why those dimensions are there, and so I'm going to show that in the next video.